Are you a high-achieving dental entrepreneur frustrated by the gap between where you are and where you want to go? Are you tired of advisors whose advice keeps you merely surviving when you should be thriving? I'm Tim McNeely, and I believe you deserve to build true wealth so you can take even better care of the people you love, the causes you care about, and leave your dent in the universe. Welcome to the Dental Wealth Nation Show, where we hand you the keys to unlock true wealth quicker and with less effort than you ever thought. Have you ever noticed that in life and in business, sometimes it's the small, simple things that can move the needle the most for you? That's right. Small, simple things can actually have a really big impact on your practice, your valuation, and your overall life, right? It's crazy, but it's true. And that's why I'm so excited about today, is because by the time you finish listening today, you're going to know why something as simple as proper handpiece repair and maintenance can actually help increase the overall value of your dental practice. It's not just about saving you money on repairs. It's creating a higher exit valuation for you. You're going to have a clear understanding of how consistent maintenance and the right repair partner can actually help you improve your bottom line, boost efficiency, longevity, and even things like team productivity. But most importantly of all, you're going to feel motivated and empowered to take control of your handpiece maintenance, knowing that every single small system you improve today can help you build a wealthier, smoother running practice tomorrow. And I am so excited. We've got Dicky Ball here of Summit Handpiece Repair. Dicky's a friend, a colleague, and someone that I turn to help the doctors I work with. And Dicky, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Tim. We appreciate you, everything you do, and love your show and love your network. Appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. And right, and it sounds crazy, like we're talking about handpiece repair, bro. Right, insane. Right, a show on handpiece repair. Why does this matter? Why does anyone care? We're going to get into that. But before we dive into the small, simple things, they can have a massive impact for people who don't know you and haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet. Give us a little bit of your background and what you do.
Sure. So my name's Dicky Ball. I own and operate Summit Handpiece Express. We're located in West Palm Beach, Florida. We've been in handpiece repair business since 2009. We repair everything from high speed, low speed, air driven, electric, surgical, endo, pretty much anything that goes in a patient's mouth, we repair it. We have very competitive pricing. We have some of the best warranties in the industry. And we are a great source for education as well. We spoke at FTC. We gave a 2-day course at FTC this year, and it was great. And, I always go back to the saying, you don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know that there's other options out there that could help you and educate you and get your practice really running top notch, it's super helpful to have that. And we're that source for your practice to get that done for you and your handpieces.
Yeah. So for those of us who don't know, what's FTC and what did you do there again?
So Florida Dental Convention, that's the yearly show that they have in Orlando. It's an amazing opportunity. You get to network with some great vendors, the dentist, the CE that's there. They do an amazing show. And, we got approached and they said, hey, we'd really love to do a class on handpiece maintenance and what's the right way? Because there is a wrong way to do it, right? And what we don't want to do is we don't want you doing it the wrong way. Wrong way increases two things. It increases pricing. You're spending money that you don't need to, right? And then it increases the downtime on the handpieces when you send them out. So if you're using them more frequently, the PSI is wrong. All of these things come into play so that your handpiece can operate properly and you don't have any issues moving forward. FDC saw the value in that. They said, hey, come on out. We're going to have you do a 2-day, 2-hour class. And that's what we did this past season. And it was great. We had some awesome attendees and we had everything. It was from doctors to assistants, office managers, a couple of, DSO managers, everybody. And if you're in the practice and you're using handpieces or in the office where handpieces are being used, there might be a time where, hey, the person responsible for maintenance, they're out of town, they're sick for whatever reason. You can jump right in after you take the class. You know exactly what it is to do. You're now it's a vital piece of what the doctor's doing, and it also helps with the patient care. It delays, no problems moving forward with it. Hey, the handpiece is ready to go. Perfect.
Nice. Well, let's start simple on this, right? Why should dentists and especially owners and especially in the DSO world, like why does handpiece repair matter so much? Aren't these things we should just like throw away and get a new one or buy a new one? Like isn't that just the quicker, easiest thing? Like why does handpiece repair actually matter?
That's a great question. And I used to have clients that would use handpieces that were disposable. They'd buy them from whatever company and they're not very good quality. That runs into a little bit of an issue. Safety for the patient is an issue and concern. The reason you really want to have a handpiece that is a good quality handpiece with proper maintenance and proper repairs is the longevity of the handpiece. Let's face it, you're buying these handpieces, they cost several hundred to thousands of dollars a piece. The repairs they're not inexpensive. They're affordable if you're with the right company, a company like ours. Again, I mean, we do everything from turbine replacement, fiber optics. If you have a bad end, it could be something as simple as an end cap being bad. You want to have quality handpieces so that you're able to actually repair them properly and not kind of just put them together and it's a hodgepodge. I mean, we are talking about going into a patient's mouth. It's a very important tool that the doctors are using. So you want a quality piece. You want to have something that's going to last long. There's a little bit of a budget gap, if you will, in the industry right now. Some doctors are using these very cheap, not quality handpieces that really you shouldn't even be using in the States, depending on if you're in the North America. In the country, you're not going to be allowed to use those technically. But that said, you can buy other quality handpieces. Again, you'll be good to go, and we can repair them for you.
Budget gap. What do you mean about that? I don't know that I've heard that term before as it relates to handpieces. What are you talking about there?
Well, there's a little bit of a gray market with some handpieces that you can purchase from various online stores that are not really dental retailers. They're not really authorized to sell, but they sell them anyways, if that makes sense.
Okay.
As opposed to going through an auzed dealer, any of your big, if you're buying them from the big companies, they're authorized to sell them, and they're going to sell you a quality product.
Now, look, I'm certainly someone I like to save money and cut corners where I can, right? I buy relatively good stuff off eBay every once in a while. So like what are the dangers of doctors doing this and living in that gray market world when it comes to handpieces?
Yeah, so there's no regulation on the stuff that's made overseas, and when you're using that stuff in the country, United States, there's regulation. You have to have it's specifically designed for use. It's specifically designed, for a purpose. Do they use them? Yeah, absolutely. Is it recommended? I wouldn't. Going back to like some of our popular handpieces, electric and air, you have the popular brands, Cavo, Star, NSK, Brasseler. Those are all quality handpieces that I would recommend and I repair daily.
Okay, excellent. And right, let's tie this back to once again the bigger picture, because we care about our practice. You want to provide good quality work to your patients. You want to use good quality instruments in your practice. But how does this help us actually drive towards increasing the magic number that all of you care about? How does this work towards actually growing our EBITDA?
Right. So in growing the EBITDA with the proper maintenance on quality handpieces, the frequency of your handpiece breaking down is less when you have a better quality product, right? So I always equate this to the type of car that you drive. I love cars. I'm a hot rod guy myself. I love classic cars. I'm building one. I have a 1961 Ford Thunderbird. I've shown you pictures. They look great. They're amazing cars. You want to put quality components in the engine, right? Why? Because that's the lifeline of the vehicle. Well, that handpiece has a turbine inside. That turbine is essentially the engine or lifeline, if you will, of the handpiece. So when that handpiece breaks down, if you have a quality part, you're able to repair it properly. It's going to work fine. It's going to work proper, and you're not going to have any issues. Now, if you have something that's not of quality, that is not able to be repaired properly, you're going to have more breakdowns. You're going to have bigger issues. And then, quite honestly, it takes away from the patient care.
Wow. Wow. What are some of the most common mistakes that you see practice owners and DSO owners make when it comes to thinking about or analyzing or working on their handpiece maintenance, right? What are some of those common mistakes that you see on handpiece maintenance?
So I've been in business since 2009. I've seen it all, right? So like I know the ins and outs of the handpieces, and when I get the handpiece and I look on the inside of the handpiece, and lack of lubrication is number one, first and foremost. So if the handpiece is not lubricated properly, that's going to make the bearings fail sooner. That's going to make the chuck get debris on the inside. You're not going to hold a burr properly, so that's going to cause an issue. And then the second is the PSI. I've got them. Some of my clients, they're saying, hey, we turned that PSI up. It went up to 60, and that still wasn't good enough. 60 PSI is highly not recommended. I would definitely not put it up to 60 at all. Every manufacturer has a certain regulation PSI that the optimal performance has been tested. And example is manufacturer A says, hey, we want you to run your PSI at 40 because that's the best speed for an air-driven handpiece in that particular turbine. What happens then? You now have a handpiece. Let's say the handpiece is proper, maintenance is good, no issues. Now you have, well, hey, it's not cutting properly. Well, we're going to go to the source. And looking at the source, I want to test the burrs. I want to make sure that you're using quality burrs, and a quality burr has a lifeline. The lifeline is obviously not cutting properly. Then you toss it out, you throw it, we get a new one, we start from scratch and start using a new burr. So those are like the three major things that I see. Typically, autoclaving. I mean, there's a whole slew of issues that you can run into. Those are probably the top three that I've seen. Calibration of the autoclave, that's a huge thing. A lot of practices don't even know that that's something that needs to be completed. Quick machine, it's tested, it's calibrated. It should tell you if it fails, if there's something there that's going on that's not right. Then we want to address that. You want to have your tech come in, whoever it is that you use, have the tech come in. They'll say, hey, it's good, it's not good. Recalibrate it, make sure that it's 1,000%. Because what you don't want is a unit running at excessive heat at a longer time. Because at that point, no matter what bearing anybody puts in there, it's going to kill those bearings pretty quickly.
Wow. And so, right, we're talking about maintenance and how to actually improve longevity of your handpieces so that you cut down on repair costs so that you can actually drive your EBITDA. And there's also other benefits too, right? We talked a little bit about actually improving staff and your associate. Like talk to me a little bit about what goes on with some of the associate improvements that you might see across a larger organization.
So for a lot of our clients, what we do, our DSO clients in specific, they get a report, and they'll get a quarterly report that says, this is what you've spent on how many handpieces, what repairs it is. And we basically do analysis. We say, okay, this quarter it was X, this quarter it was Y, this quarter it was Z. And then we want to see what the trends are, much like the trends in the industry of what's changing and what's happening and what's hot and what's not. What we don't want is excessive repairs that are unneeded and can be addressed simply by little critiques, little changes. And it's nothing that's not already being done. It's just simply educating the staff and saying, hey, okay, we're not going to do that because that doesn't work as well. And what we want to do is get another tool, which I always go with the rule of thumb. If you can see the oil coming out of the head, we know unequivocally the handpiece is lubed, you're good to go. What we don't want is it to not show, there be no residue, and whatever that is, if you hold it over the napkin. A lot of practices have the automatic machines, which are great. Those are awesome, but those aren't perfect either, because with user error, the reservoir is empty, the can is empty. For whatever reason, the machine failed and it didn't alert the user that, hey, your can is empty, and by the way, the process was not completed properly. When I get those hand pieces, I'll call and we'll talk, and I'll say, looks like the handpiece was not oiled or lubricated properly, and there's something going on in the practice. Now, that said, rule of thumb is to always want to lubricate the handpiece before you put it in the autoclave every single time. The days of just lubricating once a day or even sometimes once a week because you're only open 2 days a week, that's not happening anymore. You really need to be diligent about maintaining the handpiece and lubricating it before every autoclave. When do you autoclave it? You're autoclaving after every patient.
Interesting.
It's always going to get lubricated that way. So that's what's good, and that's the proper way to do it.
Wow. And so little steps like that can actually improve the longevity of your hand pieces too, can't they?
100%. Absolutely. What you're doing is you're essentially I'll go back to the car reference, right? So if you're using quality oil in your engine is going to run smoother. Same thing with the lubrication process. You have every handpiece has a specific high speed and low speed oil. There's certain oils that you use for certain handpieces. I'm not going to use a high speed oil on a low speed attachment simply because the thinness of a synthetic high speed oil, it's not going to be good for that low speed bearing because it's not spinning as fast, if that makes sense. So we really want to educate everybody and let them know that there is the right way and a wrong way to do things. And we're not going to yell at you. We're here as a guidance. We're here to, help and be of giving service to you to let you know this is what you're doing right. This is what's wrong. And these are the little steps that we can change just to make it that much easier, increase your EBITDA. And also, again, I always go back. The doctor's looking for the handpiece. Where's the handpiece? It's not working properly. Well, let's get that handpiece out to service as soon as possible. We're going to get it back to you as soon as possible, but let's cut down on the deficiency of maintaining it incorrectly so you don't have those breakdowns.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Now, we've been talking about the maintenance of hand pieces, but, we're also talking about the repair of hand pieces too. And you've mentioned quality repair a couple times. And how much difference is there in repairs? Is there a difference between a cheap repair and a quality repair? And how do you tell the difference?
So I always recommend whatever company you're using, you want to make sure that they're an established company that is using proper parts. And by proper parts, those are parts regulated by the United States that have use in the country. There are some companies that they use less than par bearings. They're not ABEC 9. All of our bearings are ABEC 9. They're made specifically for this use. Unfortunately, there's not a lot. They're not just going to come out and tell you, hey, we're using really, really inexpensive turbines or bearings or inserts from overseas. They're going to charge what they charge and hope that it lasts. With proper maintenance, we're proven since 2009, all the parts that I'm using are quality parts. They're ceramic bearings. In 2013, we actually switched over. There was a little bit of a difference between the expected use with stainless steel bearings versus ceramic bearings. As a company, I made the decision. I said, you know what? We're only going to use ceramic bearings when applicable for the best possible performance because they simply are quieter. The heat up, there's virtually no heat up in the ceramic bearings as opposed to the stainless steel. The stainless steel over time, they just didn't last as long and they were kind of loud and clanky. I always equate it to like a marbles in a Coke can. It makes that loud noise when it fails. It just jostles it really, really loud. It's a higher vibration. It's a subpar product. So we only use ceramic bearings for all of our bearing overhauls on high speeds.
Wow, that's fascinating. And I want to talk a little bit about the ownership of Summit Handpiece Repair because I think this is such a big differentiation. This is something I do in my family offices. I'm looking to bring in providers. Is I like privately owned companies where I have access to pick up the phone and talk to the people making the decisions, right? I don't need you to do all the work, but I want to be able to at least pick up the phone and talk with the owner. So talk to me a little bit about Summit and how that actually factors into the work that you do and the decisions that you make.
Certainly. So we are a family business, and we've, again, since 2009, my wife, Kelly, and I have been facilitating repairs We were originally based in Colorado, and then 2 years ago we moved to West Palm. Our biggest difference, honestly, is that when you call our number, you're going to speak to me or you're going to speak to Kelly. If you're talking to Kelly, that usually means that I'm hands deep in a couple bearing overhauls and I can't get to the phone, but I'm going to get to the phone and then you're going to talk to me. If you have a question with shipping, the answers are right there. We'll get it solved. We'll get it figured out. My personal experience is with other companies that doesn't have that hands-on, almost boutique, if you will, kind of that boutique feeling where, hey, I want to talk to somebody that knows exactly what's going on. When you call and you talk to the owner of the company, that speaks volumes. I don't get to speak to a lot of the owners, if you will, when I order my hot rod parts. And maybe the guy that's selling me the stuff doesn't really know. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case when you call Summit. We're going to be there for you. We're going to work with you. We're going to help you with whatever you need. You have a tracking issue, the handpiece didn't show up or whatever it is. We work through all the problems together, and Kelly and I really focus on the customer service aspect, because as a family-owned, operated business, we're not a small rinky-dink company that just is moonlighting as a repair company. Like, this is what I do. This is my life. Like, I know these handpieces inside and out, and I think that makes the difference between, again, a less quality repair company that's not using good parts. We only use good parts, and if I'm putting my name on it, you're getting quality stuff.
Well, right. I think this is so interesting, especially as both of you and I are car guys, right? We've had these conversations. It's like, right, the cars of yesteryear, right? The classics, they were made differently, right? There's a skill to repair those cars and put them together. There's a mechanical aspect. These days, you grab a car, you plug it into the computer, and the mechanic says, well, this is what the computer says I have to do. And they've lost that really understanding of the mechanical side of things. And when dealing with handpieces, these are mechanical instruments still, right? And knowing them leads to quicker repairs, better repairs, and your knowledge that you can bring is so powerful. So you and I have been having an amazing conversation so far about handpiece repair, how something so simple can actually help drive EBITDA for your dental organization. Exactly. When we come back after the break here, we're going to dive in. We're going to talk a little bit about how do you educate your team, how do you lower that expense, and then lastly, we'll dive into a couple more tips to keep your office running even better.
You're listening to the Dental Wealth Nation Show, where we give you the keys to building true wealth. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with the friends you care about. Ready to level up? Grab a copy of my #1 best-selling book, Dental Wealth Nation, and unlock the secrets of building true wealth today.
So, Dicky, we've been talking about handpiece repair and how small things can actually have an oversized impact in your practice. But handpiece repair doesn't just fall on the doctor, does it? It also involves your team. And so let's talk a little bit about how can you involve your team members in this so that we can reduce costs, that we can have better repairs and really improve our margins and improve our EBITDA. What role does our team members play, and how can you help them in this process?
Absolutely. So I would like to reference in my team what I expect of my team. Your team should always have your back. Your team should always support you, and the right team members make a difference of whether or not you're having a good, productive, or maybe not so productive day. The team members with a proper education, you should have the right hand pieces at every time. They know what the procedure is. They see it coming up when before the patient's even in the chair. Those hand pieces are placed. You know exactly what's coming in. With the proper maintenance procedures, again, we're going back to the proper PSI. We're going back to the lubrication. I always want to reference the simple fact of there's no such thing as a silly question when it comes to hand pieces. Why is that? It's my job as your handpiece repair person to know these questions and have answers for those questions, right? So I'm anticipating when the assistant calls me and says, "Hey, we just got this handpiece. We put it on, and for whatever reason, it's not holding a burr." At that point, I'm automatically going to say, "Let's take it out of service. Let's make sure that the handpiece is going to hold the burr properly, because the last thing we want is a patient injury." So take that handpiece out of service. Was there something that happened while maintenance? Maybe the handpiece was dropped, could have dented the head. Now something, there's all kinds of scenarios. But the biggest takeaway is obviously having your team educated and knowing, and that's something that we help. When you call us, you tell us what the problem is. Even if you haven't sent us a handpiece before, that's okay. We're your guidance. We're your cheerleaders that we want to help you and educate you and make sure that you know exactly what's going on with those handpieces. A burr slipping out, that's pretty simple. There's an issue internally. You automatically do not want to use that handpiece. Take it out of service, send it in, get it repaired as soon as possible. Every team member should know that, because at that point, you don't want to have a team member, especially if there's a new team member, that come in, doctor hands her the handpiece or him the handpiece. Hey, take this, send it out. The handpiece accidentally gets misplaced, puts back in service, and now it's going to be ready for another procedure. If that team member doesn't know what to do, that's a delay in the process.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, I want to invite you to take a quick trip with me, Dicky, and our listeners, right? I want you to imagine that Dicky and I have the opportunity to visit your office, and we're stepping into your office, and Dicky, we're looking around at the doctor, and we start having a conversation around handpiece repair. Well, what are some simple systems or checklists, or where would you even start the conversation as we're sitting in this doctor's office face to face, a conversation about handpieces? What would you tell them, and what are some simple systems or checklists that you would start encouraging them to look at that they could actually implement right now today to really prevent unnecessary repairs?
Absolutely. Great question. I would simply tell the doctor, what is protocol for your particular practice? What are we looking at that is an issue? Are you having issues with PSI? So again, going back to everything, looking, do you have a laminated sheet that is a guidance for all handpieces? That's something that's available on our website. We provide that. It's absolutely free. We want the staff to know steps are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for high speeds. If they don't have those steps or something close to it, then we're looking at something that is not, it's not a machine. There's an issue, and there's probably going to be a failure at some point. We want to look at the PSI chair side. So that's something I go in. I actually do this with my clients. The local clients that I'm able to talk to, I will go in. Doctor, what is your PSI locally at the chair? If it comes back and that PSI is the 60, 75, sometimes accidents happen. Sometimes if the old school units have the adjustable knob right on the outside, you brush it accidentally, something happens, it changes it. We want to check that. You want to check every single system to make sure that you're 100% running proper.
So I want to pull back a little, right? We walk into an office, the question that you would ask the doctors, tell me about your protocol, right? Tell me about what your systems and protocols look like. Let's start with, what does a really bad answer sound like?
A really bad answer is that we only lubricate our handpieces in the morning, or we only lubricate our handpieces at night before we go home. That goes back to the reference of what we were talking about. So now handpieces, if they're not being lubricated properly, I know I sound like a broken record, but it's by design. I want the clients and the staff and the team to know that proper maintenance is important. Proper PSI is important. If you're using dull burrs, I mean, these are all things that should be kind of automatic, but they're not always.
So really, shows up late in an office, and the answer is we lubricate our handpieces in the morning and in the evening. You know they're going to be having problems with their handpieces, is what I hear you saying.
I would expect them to probably have excessive repairs, unneeded repairs. And that's obviously that's where kind of the warranty comes into play. A warranty is only as good as the person giving it. My warranties, if you're not lubricating it properly, you're kind of voiding the warranty. I'm going to work with you, of course, on that, but I want to address it, and I want to find out, why is this handpiece failing 1 month after I just did a repair? I just had that conversation actually this morning. And the lady that I spoke to, she says, "Oh, well, we only repair we only lubricate our handpieces once a day. Okay. So it's a practice with five operatories and 2 dentists. How long do you think that bearing is going to last? It lasted exactly 3 weeks.
Wow.
And I just got him back, and that was the phone call that we had. And I want to address that situation. I want to address that issue so that our clients know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what's wrong. And it's an easy fix. It's a very easy fix. You're just changing that little bit, and now we're going to lubricate them. And I explained to her, I said, hey, let's look at this, and let's lubricate this every single time before it goes in the autoclave. I guarantee you they're not going to have any more failures.
Wow, amazing. So this is interesting, right? We've got a repair guy telling you how to make your handpieces last longer, right? That's what I love about Dicky, is he really does care about your practice, your organization, and making sure that you're not just taking care of patients, but he's also watching out for your bottom line too. And so, Dicky, let's start thinking about, right, if every single dental office in America actually took handpiece maintenance seriously, what kind of impact would that have? Not just on EBITDA, but just on team morale, patient experience. Like what would we start to see if you actually took handpiece maintenance seriously?
Yeah, well, you would definitely see a decrease in cost of buying new handpieces. So again, what does that do? That increases your bottom line. That increases the EBITDA, right? We're now saving money. You're going to probably have a happy doctor. I would say that if the doctor is using handpieces that are maintained properly by his team and there's no issues moving forward, he gets to do what he needs to do, and that's take care of the patient, give the patient the service that they need in a timely manner, not wasting time and efforts trying to locate new handpieces or any other issues. And to be clear, I'm not trying to single out the high speeds either. This happens with the low speeds too. So it's every handpiece lubricated before every single autoclave. Every single autoclave. You have to do it. You're going to have a better experience. Your staff's going to be happy. Doctor's going to be happy. You don't want any issues. What is the worst thing? I am a person personally, I can't stand car troubles. I don't like it. No one likes it. You don't want to be stranded on the side of the road with a flat tire, a blown engine, or whatever. The handpiece is the same way. The doctor cares enough to say, hey, I don't want to have any issues. Take care of the stuff properly and have those issues. You should be good to go. Take care of it. Happy doctor. Better practice. Better production. It's all the good things.
Amazing. So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to talk about what's going on in their office, or if they've got concerns, or if they just want to say, hey, am I doing everything right? Can I improve? Like, how can we get in contact with you?
Sure. So email, I always respond to emails. It's Rick, RICK, at summithpx.com. That is our email. You're free to call us. You can give us a call. Toll free is 877-342-0101. Our local number here in Palm Beach is 561-823-0101. Feel free to call us, text us, whatever you need. We're here to help. We're here to get everything figured out, all your problems solved in a timely manner so that you're not wasting more time or money.
And what would you tell that doctor who has, 3 or 4 handpieces sitting around their office that hasn't been working, and they're thinking about buying new ones, or they've got that collection? They're like, man, I just don't know. Like how can you help them out with something like that?
So that happens all the time. My current clients have that. They say, hey, we've had this drawer filled with 10 or 12 handpieces. Not a problem. We're happy to give you a free estimate. Estimates are always free with us no matter what. So that is something that's a service that we provide, because to be honest, not all handpieces are repairable beyond a certain amount of time. You also have a handpiece. If the handpiece has a dented head, fiber optics, it gets expensive. If the handpiece isn't worth repairing, we're going to have a conversation, and I'm going to say, you know what, doctor, I could offer you a refurbished handpiece that is the same quality, the same handpiece, but you're not going to have to spend gobs of money versus a brand new replacement. And with that, you can have the handpiece, send it to us, let us look at it, You visit our website on the lower left-hand side. There's a tab that says "Send us your handpiece." Very simple tab. That's going to generate the label that will automatically ship it to our office. Make sure you create the work order, and then just simply print it off, fill it out, put it in a little box. Make sure you tape it up really good because we don't want to lose your hand pieces. Obviously, write down the tracking number so you have that. We'll get you an estimate, and then we'll look at it. If the hand piece is worth repairing and I feel comfortable repairing it, we'll do it, and it's going to save you some money. If it's not, we'll have that conversation again, and we'll say, hey, we're not gonna waste the time and effort on that because it's truly not worth it. As much as I want to repair all the hand pieces, there's just some we send them off to the handpiece grave, and they live out their rest of their life.
Exactly. Well, hey, we've got Matthew turning in. He says, great stuff, guys. Certainly enjoying this. Thank you for tuning in, Matthew. Great to have you here. And Dicky, I want to, I asked a little question about sending you hand pieces, man.
Sure.
Like as a dentist, right? I'm married to one. I know how busy like your life is as a dentist. I don't want to have to go find a box. I don't want to have to go deal with shipping labels. I don't want to print all this stuff out. Like, how can I get my stuff to you? Because I don't want to have to do a lot of work to get it there because I'm so busy. Like, how have you made this easy for me?
So we have made it so easy that legitimately we provide the box for you. So we repair it, you ship it to us in your box. After the repair is complete, you're going to get one of our prepaid boxes. That's included. You set it and forget it. We want it easy. Keep it simple. Absolutely. You don't have to do it. All you have to do is put your stuff in here, fill out your work order. You get a 2-part work order, 1 copy for you, 1 copy for me. Put all your equipment inside, nice piece of tape on the outside, give it to your mailman. We'll get it in the next couple of days, and then we'll do the repairs that are needed. If you request an estimate, make sure you check the box that says estimate. We're happy to do that for you too.
Excellent. And what about even doing a second opinion on handpiece repair bills, right? If I know what I'm spending, I'm thinking, man, I wonder if there's a better option, if someone can be more responsive, if I can get better customer service, get these things back quicker. Can you do that analysis for me?
Sure. We'd be happy to we'll do a cost comparison and tell you exactly what it is. If you're using another company and you're happy with them, great. Could you be happier using us? Possibly. We do an analysis. We'll check the pricing. We'll see and compare apples to apples and say, is it ceramic bearings? Is it a quality part that they're using? That's the number one telltale. Sometimes I get hand pieces from different clients that, they sent them to another company and wherever. And, unfortunately there are parts out there that are subpar. They'll give you a 3-month warranty and you're lucky if it goes 10 days.
Wow,
amazing. We want to make sure that it's actual good quality stuff that's able to be repaired properly. It's not going to cause you an issue, and you're good to go.
Wow. Who knew, right? Small things can have a big impact on your
huge impact.
Right. We've been talking about handpiece repair, actually driving EBITDA, increasing staff happiness, improving patient care, and lowering your bottom line, right? Small, simple things can have an outsized impact. If you ever would have told me I'd be excited about something like handpiece repair, why do I care? Dicky, this is so important, and thank you for being an advocate for this and for really helping us understand how you can build a better practice through little simple things. And before we sign off here, any closing thoughts for people listening to you right now?
Yeah, I would just say, again, obviously, thank you, Tim. Appreciate you so much for all the hard work that you do. And obviously your network, we're a huge fan. We love you and appreciate you. Any practice that is having issues with hand pieces, there is no such thing as a silly question. And please call us. Let us know. We're here to help. If it's something we can do, and we'd love to facilitate that repair, we'd love to help you out. But we also want to educate everybody. And building a team that is stronger in handpiece maintenance is definitely the way to go. It is definitely going to help. And you will certainly see the benefit in that almost instantly. So Excellent. Thank you very much, Tim.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing so generously with us. And We'll see you all here next time on the Dental Wealth Nation Show.
Bye.
That's a wrap on today's Dental Wealth Nation Show. If you've loved today's insight, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share the wealth with your dental friends. I'm Tim McNeely, and remember, your amazing life of significance is just one smart decision away. Keep thriving, and catch you next time on the Dental Wealth Nation Show.